very good morning, students. I hope you people are good and safe. Today we are going to see about contributions of economic thinkers. That is, we are going to see about B.R. Ambedkar, J.C. Kundarkar, then V.K.R.V. Rao, and then Amartya Kumar Sen. So before going to the concept, just a recap what we saw in the last class. In the last class we saw about the contributions of Indian economic thinkers. So first economic thinker is Thiruvalluvar and second one it is an Mahatma Gandhi. So according to Thiruvalluvar, he has explained in the 3rd century itself about the economic. What are the economics? What is economics and what are the economic ideas that should be followed? And then next we come to know about the next economic thinker is that Mahatma Gandhi. So Mahatma Gandhi, he has given more importance for the development of the village and village should be self-sufficient. He fully restricted and prohibited certain things like missionaries, industrializations. So he has not given more importance for the missionaries and industrialization because both are sin and it considered as an causes for the economy he has considered. Okay, next we come to know about another contribution of a Indian economical thinker is that one is the main important is that B.R. Ambedkar. So B.R. Ambedkar, he was born in 1891 and he was died in 1956. So he is called as an versalite personality because he knows everything. He is very excellent and skillful in all the field. So especially he was the architect of Indian constitution and he is a custodian of social justice and champion of socialism and state planning. Then Ambedkar writing includes that is he has published so many theses as well as books he has published. So one of the main thing is that Ambedkar writing includes is ancient Indian commerce. So this thesis which was submitted to the Columbian University for the award of a Master of Arts degree in 1915. Then another thesis which was published is that National Dividend of India, a historical and analytical study. So this thesis which was awarded has an PhD. Then another thesis which was published is called as the evolution of provincial finance in British India. So this provincial decentralization of imperialism finance. So this is the major study. So this study which has been awarded and which has been accepted for the MSc degree in 1921. Then the another thesis which he has been published is that problem of the rupees. So this thesis which has been accepted as a DSc degree by the London School of Economics in 1923. So best thing is that the problem of the rupee and this thesis which has been accepted by the RBI and they use this thesis for their guidelines okay. Then the problem of the rupee origin and the solution. So this solves the main economic problems in India. So this problem of the rupee which has been studied under 4 broad heading. The first one it is an financial economics and the second one it studies about the agricultural economics and third one it is an economics of caste and then fourth one it is an economics of socialism. So under this book, so the first thing it is an financial economics. So Ambedkar has given an much more importance for the financial economics. So this which is Ambedkar during this stay abroad mostly during the period of 1913 to 1923 was in the field of finance economics. So he used to guide it for the financial department. So Ambedkar divide the evolution of provincial finance in 3 stages. So first one it is an budget by assignment, second one budget by assigned revenue and third one it is an budget by shared revenue. So this is the 3 important concept which has been divided under the financial economics. Next, we come to know about an agricultural economics. Ambedkar used to give more importance for the agriculture. So, agricultural and this was published in 1918 as a, that is a small holdings in India and other remedies. Okay, so according to Adam Smith, he took the point of wealth of nation and he made and fine distinction between consolidations of holding and enlargement of holding. So see here, this small size holding means that a holding of land is too small, means that the farmers can't able to produce. So he explained about the concept of small holdings and consolidations of holdings and enlargement of holdings. If the land holdings, if it is big, means the farmers can do the agriculture in a wider manner. So he explains about this concept in this agricultural economics. Then economics of caste. So economics and caste is the most important one, that he want to remove this caste system in India. So people should move freely from one occupation to another occupation. So this is the main theme of the Ambedkar, that caste should not be plays and dominant, should not plays and dominant role in a country. So caste should be avoided. The next fourth one, it is an economics of socialism. So economics of socialism means that he has a gives an importance for the state socialism, that is advocate of nationalization of all key industries, that is he gives an importance for the industries. He gives an importance for the cooperative farmings, and then he gives an more importance for the insurance, and then he gives more importance for the human being. So these are the four things which he has dominated in the economics of socialism. So again I will repeat. So Ambedkar, he is an versalite, he was an versalite personality. So his main thing is that his main concept that he has published in the book The Problem of the Rupee. So under this book it has studied about the four concepts, four broad headings. One is financial economics, agricultural economics, economics of caste, and then economics of socialism. Okay. Next, we come to know about J.C. Kumarappa. J.C. Kumarappa, his full name is called as Joseph Chelladurai Kumarappa. He was born on 4th January 1892 in Tanjavur, located in Tamil Nadu. So the main theory of J.C. Kumarappa is that rural economic development. So his theory is based on the development of rural economy. So Kumarappa, he is a follower of Gandhiji. So his theory which is called as an idea which is called as an Gandhian economics. So J.C. Kumarappa and Gandhiji, they strongly supported for the village industry, and they want to promote a village industry association. And the second thing, they gives an importance for the trusteeships and non-violence. So these are the things which they have given more important. But both Gandhiji as well as J.C. Kumarappa, they have rejected certain things like material development and competitions and efficiency of free market mechanisms. So free trade market mechanism, this was strictly avoided by J.C. Kumarappa and then Gandhiji. So their main thing, they want to satisfy the human needs and challenges. So the main causes, main socio-economic conflict in an economy is that unemployment, poverty and deprivation. So the main concept that they want to develop unemployment problem, reduce poverty and deprivation. So these are the things which both the thinkers, great economic thinkers, who has given an importance. Then here they have given about the history that Kumarappa worked as a professor in Gujarat. So there while serving as an editor of Young India during Salt Satyagraha, he founded the All Indian Village Industry Association in 1935. So he was imprisoned for the Quit India movement. So for more than 1 year he was imprisoned. So during his imprisonment he has written and book The Precepts of Jesus 1945 and Christianity. So its economy and the way of life. So in 1945 he has published a book. Then Gandhiji, he is a follower. J.C. Kumarappa, he is a follower of Gandhi. So both of them has given an importance for the environmentalism. So environment, they have given an importance for the environment. So the theory is called as an environmentalism. So the Green Gandhian portraying him as a founder of modern environmentalism in India. Then Kumarappa, J.C. Kumarappa worked for the Planning Commission of India and Indian National Congress to development of national peace. So he has moved to all over the places, like he traveled to many places like China, Eastern Europe and Japan on a diplomatic assignments and to study the rural economic system. So up to this this J.C. Kumarappa is over. So next we move to the V.K.R.B. Rao. Okay, next we come to know about an V.K.R.B. Rao. So V.K.R.B. Rao, so he is an great economic thinker. So his most important contribution for the development of the economics. So he is called as an prolific. He's called as an prolific writer. So V.K.R.B. Rao was deeply interested. So he is interested in writing certain things in order to development of the economics. The first one, it is a national income. Second one, it is an food, nutrition and distribution of goods. And third one, it is an employment and occupational distribution. So these are the three things which he has given more importance for the development of the economics, and he is an economic thinker. So under the first one, he explains about the national income methodology. So national income methodology, under this national income methodology, he has given more importance for the development of national income. Second one, he has given an importance for the concept of investment, how to increase the investment in the underdeveloped countries. And third one, he has given more importance for the full employment in the underdeveloped countries, full employment and economic development. So these are the three things which has been included in the national income and methodology. And second one, he has given an importance for this theme is based on the international food aids. So Rao was influenced in creating the ideas and shaping the policy in international attack on world poverty. That is how to reduce end poverty at world level. So not only through his contribution, the questions of international aids and improve the flow of external resources, but also through his activity in the field of food aids is the most important one. Third thing, he has given and support for the socialism. So that is, and public sector is the most important for the development of the economy. So he considered that India is a socialist economy. So here socialist related things should be followed. So public sector is to be followed in India. So his main concept that he want to develop and public sector would plays a dominant role for the development of the economy. Then Rao views on industrialization. So his most important and thing for the development is that Rao's views on industrialization, that industry is the most important one for the development of the economy. So in his pamphlet, What is Wrong with the Indian Economic Life? So 1938, Rao gave the following reason for the low per capita income and low level of per capita nutrition in India. So the first reason why the per capita income is low in India. So first one, it is an uneconomic holding with subdivisions and fragmentations. That is the holding, the size of the holding of the land which is too small and fragmented. So this is the first reason. And the second reason is that low level of water availability for the crops. So during this period, there is no types of irrigations which has not been followed. So this is the another thing that India's per capita is just low. And third one, it is an population pressure. So excess of populations which has been increased, and not so much of given importance to the agriculture. So, and this is the third thing. Then absence of capital, that is investment is very low in India. Then absence of autonomy in currency policy and in general in monetary matter, encouraging the holdings of gold. So these are the five things that India's per capita income and per capita nutrition in India is very low, he has explained. And then he has explained in the fifth one, it is called as an village cluster. So village cluster means that we have to combine all the villages and to form in a group. So this is called as an village cluster. So for the development of the economy, so village plays a major role, because in India more than 2 lakhs villages are there. So social and economic interaction between the village could develop, and they could efficiently generate and function. The next contribution of VKRV Rao is investment, income and multiplier. So for the development of the economy, the most important one is an investment, income and multiplier in an underdeveloped economy. So this is the main thing. In 1952 he has explained about investment, income and multiplier. So this is the major macroeconomic contribution. So as a thinker, teacher, economic advisor and direct policy maker, so VKRV Rao followed the footstep of his great teacher John Maynard Keynes. So John Maynard Keynes, he is the father of new economics. So VKRV Rao was a follower of John Maynard Keynes. Then institutional builder, some of the things, that is nearly 3 institutional which he has found. That is, first one, it is a national level research institution, namely Delhi School of Economics. Second institution is that Institute of Economic Growth, both at Delhi. And third one, it's an Institute for Social and Economic Changes in Bangalore. Okay, so I will repeat. So VKRV Rao. So VKRV Rao was a prolific writer. Okay, so he's a great economic thinker, and he's a follower of JM John Maynard Keynes. So according to VKRV Rao, he is deeply interested in writing 3 things, that is, want to develop 3 things in an economy. So first one, it is a national income. Second one, food, nutrition and distribution of goods. And third one, it is an employment and occupational distribution. These are the 3 major things which he has concentrated. So, and later he has given an importance for the views on industrialization, why India per capita and the per capita nutrition which is low. So that also which has been explained on the views on industrialization. And then he has given importance for the village cluster, that is to join all the villages and to develop the rural economy. So this is the most important. And the fifth one, it is that investment, income and multiplier. So this is the major macroeconomic objectives, that is, in a country said to be developed, if it is want to be developed means, so the main thing that investment, income and multiplier should be developed in an underdeveloped country. Then 3 institution which he has built, that is, first one, it is an School of Economics, Institute of Economic Growth, and then Institute for Social and Economic Changes in Bangalore. Okay, next we will move to the Amartya Sen. So next we come to know about an Amartya Kumar Sen. So Amartya Kumar Sen means he is an the last contribution for economic contribution of economic thinker. So he is a Nobel citation refers to Sen's contribution. So the main contribution of Amartya Kumar Sen is that social choice theory, and then development of economics, and then study on poverty and famine, and concept of enlightenment and capability development in 1998. So in the studies he has explained about the total development, what is the needs for the development of the economy. So here he has given an 5 contribution gives a major, his concept is based on the 5 major contributions is poverty and famine. Second one, it is and poverty and inequality. And third one, concept of capability. Fourth one, it is an enlightenment. And fifth one, it is an choice of techniques. Okay, so let us see the first one. It is an poverty and famine. So the most important one, sense poverty and famine. So an essay on enlightenment and deprivation in 1981 is, in both the theory he has explained about that in an economy that poverty and famine should be reduced. So his main concept is that his main concentration and attentions which is has given on the absolute and relative depression. So absolute and relative depression means that we have two types of poverty here. One is an absolute poverty and another one is an relative poverty. So absolute poverty, which is measured that people should have their basic needs, that is their subsistence livings like food, cloth and shelter. So this is the main thing that people needs. It is called as an absolute. And the second concept he has given in importance, it is an relative. So relative poverty means that it is based on the standard of living of the people. That is, their income should increase their standard of living. So these are the two things which he has given an important under the poverty and famine. The second contributions of sense is that poverty and inequality. So the major thing that he want to reduce and poverty and he want to reduce the inequalities. So sense want to reduce the inequality, that is the distribution of between the rich and the poor. So how to reduce this distribution of inequalities between the rich and the poor. So this is the major concept of sense, is that reduce the inequalities, that is the distribution of income, and then want to reduce the below poverty line. And third concept that sense contribution is that concept of capability. See here, generally capability means that is people will have their main thing like commodities or utilities which can be fulfilled. Okay, but the most important that things should be fulfilled, it is like they needs like civil rights, then political rights, then important civil rights, political rights. So certain things should be capability means that most important is that people should get their civil rights, political rights, liberties, then income and wealth. So these are the capabilities that people should get. So these are the important concept that Amartya Sen focused. So he is not focused on the commodities and or utilities. So the main focus and main contribution of Sen is that want to improve the capabilities. Next one, it is an enlightenment. So sense next contribution, next concept of enlightenment is that like nutrition, food, medical and healthcare, employment, security of food supply in times of famine, etc. So these are the things should be enlightened in an economy. So these are the thing which is very very important for the development of the economy. And then the last one, it is in choice of techniques which has to be used. So the last contribution of sense is the choice of techniques. So we have to see whether capital or labor is abundant in an economy. If capital is abundant means we have to use that capital intensive techniques. If we have an labor means we have to follow that labor intensive techniques. So this is the another contribution of sense. Amartya Sen's is the choice of techniques. Okay, I will repeat. So Amartya Sen, he is a Nobel citation. So he is a great he is a great Indian economic thinker. So his main contribution on poverty and famine, poverty and inequality, concept of capability, enlightenment, choice of techniques. So under poverty and famine, he want to develop two things. One is absolute and relative. So under absolute poverty and relative poverty, that people should get an basic needs as well as they have to improve their standard of living. Second one under comes to poverty and inequality, that is poverty should be, that is that should not be below poverty line, and second one it is an reduction in the inequality of income between the rich and the poor. So these two concepts should be evolved. And third one, it is an enlightenment, that people get their concept of capability, that people get their commodity as or their utility. If they get their commodity or utility, it is not called as an capability. The capability means that people should get their civil rights, political rights, liberties, income and wealth. So everything should be fulfilled in an economy. So this is called as an capability, and since contribution on the capability is most important well-being, and he has achieved. Then enlightenment. So in an economy, since include the concept like enlightenment called nutrition, food, medical, healthcare, employment, security of food supply in times of famine. So this is the most important concept which he has included for the development of the economy. And the last one, it is a choice of techniques. So we have to see whether we have a labor or capital which is abundant in an economy. So if labor is abundant means we have to follow the labor intensive techniques, and if we have a capital means we have to follow this capital intensive techniques. Okay. So just a recap, what we saw from this lesson, what are the concepts you have learned from this lesson, is that the first one is what do you mean by economic growth and what do you mean by development. So growth means it is measured through national income, development means it is measured through certain indices. Then we saw about the Indian economy features and its weakness, that is the strength and weakness of the Indian economy. Then we saw about the demographic trends in India, that is how the demography profile, that is how the population which has been characterized. So it has been characterized into 7. One is in size of population, rate of growth, and then birth rate and death rate, density of population, sex ratio, life expectancy, and then literacy ratio. Then we saw about the natural resources. So what are the resources which are available in the economy? So important mineral resources that is available in an economy is iron ore, coal, lignite, bauxite, mica, crude oil, gold, diamond. Then we saw about the infrastructure. So infrastructure plays a major role. So we have two type of infrastructure. One is an economic infrastructure and another one is an social infrastructure. Then we saw about the contributions of Indian economic thinkers. So under the contributions of Indian economic thinkers, we saw about Thiruvalluvar, then we saw about Mahatma Gandhi, then we saw about B.R. Ambedkar, then we saw about J.C. Kumarappa, then V.K.R.V. Rao, and last is Amartya Sen is the most important. So these are the economists who has given more importance for the development of economy. Okay, so thank you students. We will meet in the next class. Thank you.